Take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine now. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling. You wanna know is how to hold on to it every moment. Dive into it like my love is an ocean. It's overflowing. I swear it's golden. So good that I'm rolling. Baby, you make me crazy. I'm seeing roses. Baby, just maybe you save me. Oh, take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine. Take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine now. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling. Good feeling. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling. Good feeling. You wanna do is move with me. I'm seeing blue, yeah. In a disco-colored room, hearts are blooming. It's so consuming. Love what you're doing, so good that I'm.
Hey, welcome everybody. As you're coming in, please introduce yourselves. Share a little bit about who you are and where you're from. What brought you here tonight? Lovely to see some cool comments coming in, everybody. Great to see you too, Kira. This is awesome. Everyone, we have Melissa and Marion helping us. They're going to be behind the scenes and in the chat. If you have a question as we go, please put those questions in the chat, and one of them will be sure to take good care of you. Melissa's going to be in the background as a monitor, and she's going to be fielding tech questions, other questions that may come up as we go. Marion will be monitoring the chat and answering questions directly in the chat. And then Marion's also going to add her email address to remind winners of merch giveaways to send their mailing addresses to Marion. Awesome. Well, all right. Why don't we start, if we could? Look at this. So many wonderful people coming in. Let us start with our first giveaway. Each giveaway is going to include a signed copy of the book and one piece of free merchandise. Melissa's going to pick a number and give a name to me so that we can share that. But I have to figure out where it is. All right, our first winner, Sheila Carpenter. Congratulations, Sheila. You're going to be getting some cool stuff, let me tell you. And you just need to send over your email so that we can hook you up. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. So glad that you're here. I am Dr. Dodge Ray. I'm a clinical psychologist. I've been on the show a bunch of times, thoroughly enjoy it, but probably most importantly, I have been Pete Wright's friend since practically before I can remember. We've known each other a long time, and so this book has been a long and exciting thing coming for me. Part of what I love about it as a psychologist who both works with ADHD in clients and then with no small measure of my own. And also as somebody who has been fascinated with the productivity sector for a long time. What I've been watching for years is that there are amazing experts about ADHD who've been sharing beautiful clinical stuff and personal stuff and guiding a lot of, just new understanding about neurodivergent, and then also an entire industry of writers and app creators who've really helped the productivity sector, but almost entirely built for neuronormative minds. And this is the first book I know of that's put these two together, and it's a long time coming. So I'm really excited, not just to introduce dear friends of mine, but to introduce this book. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up tonight. We've got some talks by the authors themselves, got some special guests coming that I'll be introducing soon. We have got some book reading and discussion. We've got some Q&A stuff coming up at the end that will be most important. And so it's good for you to know to be please including your questions as you go in the comments so that those can be collected for the end. And there'll probably be a lot that come up because of all the things I've just read you. And then we'll have some closing remarks and a few more free giveaways at the end of the evening. But those will be happening throughout. Let me introduce the authors first. Many of you know this already, but Nikki Kinzer is a certified professional ADHD coach, podcaster, international speaker. As founder of Take Control ADHD, she leads a team that supports adults with ADHD through individual and group coaching, giving her a wealth of experience working with those with ADHD. Pete Wright is a podcaster and writer and has experience with ADHD directly impacting his work and life. He's a student of productivity systems and writes and records regularly, interviewing experts in the field. His network, True Story FM, currently hosts and produces over 30 podcasts. Welcome, Pete and Nikki. Woo!
Woo! Party day. Thank you,
Hi,
Dodge.
co-author.
Hi, co-author.
Hello, here we are. Celebrating. I feel like
exciting.
we need more music and party hats. And
I know,
things.
right? We should. The entire thing will now be done under some gentle music in the background, right? This is the party.
That's right.
Oh, it's really so exciting to be here, and thank you, Dodge, for agreeing to shepherd us through this evening.
Are you freaking kidding? I'm so honored. Wouldn't have missed this. Probably would have barged in. It's a good thing you asked me.
He would have been here anyway.
Would have been here anyway.
Wow. Well, here we are. We're supposed to talk about the book now.
I know, Nikki. I think you're supposed to kick it off, right? You're the
I am.
You're the principal speaker. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start from the beginning when I was a child. I always wanted to write a book. Now, actually, that's not true. I wrote a book a long time ago, and Pete, you helped me write that book. And I swore after I wrote that book, I would never write a book again. But here we are. So you never know what life is going to turn or how it's going to turn for you. And I will say there was definitely some imposter syndrome that came with this writing of this book. When we were approached to talk about ADHD and would we be interested in writing a book about ADHD, I wasn't sure. And I called Pete right after the meeting and I'm like, Pete, what do you think? And he's not sure. And we had to really sit with it and kind of figure out what we would want to talk about and what would be important to share. And we really wanted to bring something to the ADHD community that was different, but still had our personalities attached to it from the podcast. And, as Dodge was saying, the neurotypical community has all kinds of books on time management, planning, productivity. You think of GTD, you think of Getting Things Done by David Allen, but there isn't really anything like that specifically for ADHD. And that is something that we care so much about. It's something that we talk about. It's something that I do in my practice with my membership. And that's where we landed on let's do something around planning. Pete, what do you think when I made that phone call?
Well, I thought you were a little bit crazy because the first book that we did was hard and you can't find it anymore. We buried it.
No,
We buried it
gone.
in but this was an interesting one because I felt like for the first time as we're walking into this that we had something collectively to say and to approach this in a different way, to approach it, from your perspective as a coach and from my perspective, sharing lived experience. And some of those stories are hopefully funny. Some are stupid, some are, and most I hope are illustrative and relatable to others' experiences. And that was a thing that I found myself very quickly eager to share and eager to contribute to the body of knowledge. I feel like, what we've been doing for however many years, 15 years or something on the podcast has been contributing in one way. And I love that we've been granted the opportunity to share in a completely new way some of these collected lessons over the years, because they're beautiful lessons and they are the result of talking to incredible people and brilliant people in the space. A handful of them are here tonight to share with us their thoughts on this stuff too. And we're incredibly honored that we are even in orbit with these people, and delighted that we can contribute a little bit to the planning space for ADHD.
Yeah. Well, and something that I come across in my membership and working with clients is that many people that have ADHD do not plan like they have ADHD. And
Mhm.
so we really wanted to teach a method that is flexible, that embraces your ADHD, with key concepts around really understanding how it impacts you instead of finding or fighting against it all the time. So you're really becoming a partner with it. So much of the book is learning more about yourself, doing some of these exercises and different types of questionnaires just to really figure out how do I like to work, how what comes naturally to me, and really working with that instead of against it. And what I love about the book and how Pete contributes to it is that it is so much like our podcast. I'm coming from the coaching perspective that has this sort of like how-to method, and then Pete comes in with these beautiful written essays that are creative and funny and sometimes serious, with also these little nuggets of gold that you just want to hold on to. So he makes the book a lot more interesting. So it's not just a how-to book. You also, you get to have an essay every once in a while too, which is great. What's so exciting though is here we are today, almost exactly a year later from the very first meeting that I had with Victoria from Wiley. That meeting was on September 6th, 2023. I was at the beach and I remember thinking, this is crazy. This is not a scam. This is real. She actually wants us to write a book. And I was with my sister and I remember thinking, I don't know why. Like, why does she want us to write a book? And my sister was like, why not you?
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that because that always stuck with me. It's like, why not us? Because we do have something to share. And this message, I hope everybody gravitates to, and they can use this resource for a long, long time. So we are very grateful to share this book with you and the world today.
Well, and we should shout out Victoria, our acquisitions editor from Wiley, is here tonight. Victoria, so glad that you're here, and we're sorry that we thought you were a scammer. And
Yes.
we hope that nobody else thinks you're a scammer either. And a shout out to Amy, who copy edited the book, who is a lifesaver for making us sound remotely intelligible. You're wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Beautifully
next,
done, one
Dodge?
and all. Let's have a second giveaway. Who have we
coming.
got?
Oh, look, that's us.
Oh, that's you. Waiting for it. We need a drum roll.
I did not come prepared. I have no soundboard. I have
can't
no
believe I didn't
augas.
bring all my instruments, Pete.
I
I knew
know.
I
I have
should
no
have
drum rolls.
All right.
And I
Who's the next one, Melissa?
she's digging. I know she's
She's
digging. You can
digging.
hear her in the
Who's
background.
digging? Aha.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hi, I'm already going to apologize for pronouncing this name. I have Bonita. Got to follow. Hope
That
I've said
sounds
that
pretty good.
correctly.
Yay.
And I hope you enjoy your merchandise. Most thrilling. All right, let's turn now to introduce some of our wonderful guests. We have first James Ochoa. And James has the distinction not only of being the author of Focus Forward, Navigating the Storms of ADHD, but also that he wrote the foreword to this most beautiful book and did a beautiful job at that. We are so excited to have James with us.
Absolutely.
Oh, James.
Yay.
Oh man, I wouldn't miss it. I've been dreaming about this. And guess what came in the mail today?
Yay.
Perfect timing.
Made sure that I was on the pre-sale list at the very least, as I want to give this to some of my favorite ADHD people. But I'm just, this is like one of those strange experiences that feels like a dream, but it's not a dream. Okay, because I've known y'all for a very long time, at least 8 years or more in being a guest on your podcast. And I can't think of better people to write this book because you've been on the front lines for so long. And when you're on the front lines that long, you see the trials and the tribulations and the frustrations, but you also see the insights and you see the creativity and you see all these pieces. And so to me, it's not like, why not you? It's you are the people to write this book. It made perfect sense to me when I read it. And so when you asked me to write the forward for it, I was like, wow. I was really, it's one of those, one of my son's best friends a year ago asked me to do their wedding. And I was like, what, do your wedding? And it was an incredible honor. This is an incredible honor. And I had such a fun time writing the forward. And I will say it was an easy forward to write, because as I read the book, it was easy to read. It was understandable. It was like, oh, I can personalize things, which is I'm a huge fan of. It addresses the stress of ADD and how people get thrown out of center easily and what to do about it. So it's an ADD book written for ADD people in an ADD way, and it's just like, okay, it matches all the different angles that we're looking for. So I am super happy to be a part of this, and super happy y'all have written this. Absolutely needs to be out in the field, and thankfully we do have a book we can turn to now that is built for the neurodivergent mind. And y'all have been so gracious in helping me get the word out on the mental and emotional stress of ADD, which just doesn't go away. And I talk about ad nauseum, right? And so y'all have created something that really gives people a platform to be able to engage their lives with this diagnosis in a different way. And that's what I put in my forward. This is a resource. This is something you're going to turn to. This is going to be a dog-eared book for sure. So congratulations. I'm super happy for both of you and super excited.
Thank you.
We're so
Thank
lucky
you so much.
to have you in our space, James, and to be in yours. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're in the space together now.
Yep.
Okay. You've taken that step up, and it is courageous. Boy, does it kick off imposter syndrome, Nikki. You are so right. And you get to learn to resource and manage it, but it's okay, because this book needs to be out there.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Well said, James. Thank you. Next, we've got Dr. Kurosh Dini, who is a clinical psychiatrist and author of Waves of Focus, Guiding the Wandering Mind. Welcome.
Thank you. Hey.
Thanks for coming, Kurosh, and thank you so much for being a part of this.
I'm super excited for you both. This is really fantastic. I too have just received this in the mail today. It's lovely. I think I really do appreciate that dynamic of the contrast that you guys create, and it seems like so in music, when you have anything that you create in music, the way that you create objects are by creating opposites, 2 measures, 4 measures, this note and that note, and it creates a space between them. That's the way it kind of creates it in the mind. And doing that, the way you guys have done this, there's like this music that's created, that you have this like very whimsical, like just kind of like flowing sort of something. And then you have the more structured, like, all right, let me try to guide you in this direction, kind of a voice to it. And I really appreciate that sort of approach. The way that I think you acknowledge the role of emotion, which is very important, the shame and the shoulds as they appear, the feelings of super smart and super dumb at the same time, kind of like, how does that happen? But it happens, The IKEA trip had me laughing, So really, I think it's really wonderful. You guys, you need to be proud of yourselves. I think it's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kurosh. As with, I'll say with everybody, but everybody that has been on the show, and you in particular, I've been a fan of yours for so long. It's like an out-of-body experience hearing you say anything about anything that I create. Thank you so much. So honored to have you here and sharing those words, especially about the IKEA trip, man. That was a labor of love.
Yeah, thank you for calling that out. That was well done. Right. And the interplay between the 2 authors is especially highlighted right there. Beautiful.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Kurosh.
You're most welcome. Yeah.
Next, we have Dr. Ari Tuckman, a psychologist and MBA, an ADHD thought leader, author, and international presenter. So
I'm sorry,
awesome
Ari Tuckman, the international presenter, Ari Tuckman.
the
Yes.
Ari,
Yes, indeed.
thank you
Sitting
for being
here at the ping pong table with my cat. So living the life.
I do want to say, I've
Um,
been watching your cat on the little preview that I have. I don't think anybody else has
yeah,
this. You've been battling that cat vis-a-vis your computer
I know.
for a while. This
I
is
know.
delightful.
Yeah. So we're keeping it interesting. So, but it's great to be here. I got to say, I love coming on your podcast and hanging out with you guys, and just like I love the chemistry, and it's always super fun. So, when you guys reach out to me about this, I mean, I didn't have to think about it for a second. So, I also got my book. I got mine yesterday. I don't know if that makes me
Yay.
better than the other two, but or maybe I'm just closer. So, um, I mean,
favorite.
here's the thing. I don't know if it's easy to write a bad book, but I know it's really hard to write a good book, right? And that means a book that is sort of wise enough and deep enough and has enough wisdom to apply to this kind of broad range of readers, and also is sort of specific enough to speak to the individual reader at the same time, right? So there's a lot that you have to do to sort of get that down right. And I think you guys did a really great job of it, of making it both kind of practical and useful in the sense of like, here are things that you can do, by which I mean actually, a reader could conceivably do them, as opposed to, here are some nice thoughts, but let's be honest, ain't nobody doing them, at least for more than a day. So very practical and useful, but also, I don't know, kind of personable and relatable and funny, and all the stories and everything else. So it makes it kind of easy to keep going through it and not just read like 2 chapters. So it's obvious you guys have been at this a while, that you've been thinking about this, you've been living it, and you've been talking to people about it. And I think that very much shows up, on every page in the book. So I think there's a lot here to feel good about.
Aw, thank you, Ari.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Means a lot.
especially given just how much you've taught us and the community in all of your many appearances on the show. Honored to
Yeah.
have you here. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. And I'm super psyched that my buddies Mike Felt and Sharon Celine, I think, are they're on the schedule. So hopefully they're here and coming up next.
I will.
Yes.
We'll just have to see.
We'll just have
Ooh.
to see.
We'll
hanging
try.
suspense
It might be a secret
for you.
Yeah.
Keeping it,
Yeah.
keeping it exciting. Oh, I'm on tenterhooks here.
Thanks, Ari.
Thank you, Ari. Indeed, Ari's wish comes true with Dr. Sharon Celine, psychologist and author of What Your Child Wishes You Knew, working together to empower kids in school and life, and also the ADHD Solution Card Deck. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you so much. I have to say, coming after all of these wonderful people, it's like, okay, what exactly am I going to say? Luckily, I'm never at a loss for words. And I have to say, I love this book. Also, Ari, mine came yesterday too. What I love about this book is kind of what I love about coming on your podcast. There's banter and information and a lot of smarts. And in this book, you guys have opened your heart and your minds to all the readers so that you're not only helping them improve planning tools, but you're also helping them boost self-esteem along the way. It's like you really address the emotional issues, but you also like you have user-friendly worksheets and exercises to help with disorganization and procrastination, and every chapter is packed with information and relatable examples. I just love this book, and I'm so honored to be here tonight, and I'm honored to write a blurb for it, and I'm just thrilled for you. I am so thrilled for you, genuinely happy and excited.
You are such a delight, Sharon. Thank you so much for all of your contributions to our own body of knowledge over the years, to being on the show. And I just want to say, when you came on to the pre-show tonight, you were dancing. You were straight up dancing. And that changes my mood from jump. So thank you for just being your effervescent self and bringing the smarts. We love you so much. Thank you.
Right back at you.
I'm glad you bring that up, Pete. I was going to say Dr. Sharon came and won the pre-party pretty quickly.
For sure.
Yes, she did.
For sure. There is
She had us dancing. That's
knows how to
right.
work a room, Sharon Celine.
This is a massive celebration.
Yes.
This is a massive accomplishment. And I think it's really important that you pat yourselves on the back while we're patting you on the back, because it's not easy to do something as good as this. Ari's right. It's, writing a book is one thing. Writing a good book is something entirely different.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll shut up. We'll stop joking. It's not, we can do this. We love you, Sharon. Thank you.
Bringing tears to my eyes.
God, I hope you guys are breathing this in. Seriously, do you understand these people are talking about you?
Yeah.
And should be. Everything they're saying. I'm like, yes, exactly. Finally, we have Dr. Nachi Felt, a psychologist.
Except we don't. Let me interrupt you. We don't.
do
We have
not?
a change. We have a change in agenda. Dr.
Yes.
Felt is, I'll say he's stuck in traffic. I don't know if that's true, but he
He's
did
with a
say he
client.
would be a bit. He's with a client.
He's
Clients
with the client
before book
and,
launches.
Right. And he's going to be coming in a little bit later. And we're actually a little bit ahead of schedule.
Look at us.
I know.
Didn't see
right?
that coming.
Who knew that? So, yes. So I'm thinking we could go ahead and do our giveaway. And then we can do our readings. And then when Dr. Felt comes in, we can give him the stage.
Let's do exactly
We're pivoting.
Pivot.
We're pivoting.
Well
We can
done.
pivot.
We're so,
Pivot.
I just have to say though, this is like a perfect example of something that you find in the book. Plans change. And when they change, you have to pivot. And we're all good with that. We're all good.
We're all
I-
good.
Yeah.
I just have to say though, don't we normally have to pivot because we're running late? That it all ran long. That we forgot to
Not when we're running early.
scroll back and say, did I
Unprecedented.
skip several pages and what happened? How are we? We're just like, pop. This is awesome. All right. Well, very proud. With that, let's have another giveaway. Hit me, Melissa.
Oh, I wish I had a rolling ball sound,
Right.
right?
I know.
One of those lottery balls.
This could be.
It's coming.
Look at that, Heidi Bledsoe. Look at that. Heidi Bledsoe, you have got some fun stuff coming your way. Please share your deets. And Melissa and Marianne will hook you up. Well, all right then.
Right.
We are at the next fun thing we're going to do. We're going to have some book reading happening. And what I want to remind everybody is that while Pete and Nikki are reading some passages, be aware of questions that are coming up and start to send them in through the, I guess, straight through the comments, right, guys?
Yes.
And we'll collect those, and those will be included in the questions and answers at the end. All right, so start thinking about those. Nikki, you're up first.
Indeed. All right. So I'm going to read a couple different passages. And the first one is part 1. It's the introduction. And I'm on page 9. All right. With ADHD, it doesn't always feel possible to take control of your time. When your mind is racing, time keeps ticking, and the endless to-do list never gets checked off. You always feel behind and never feel like your efforts are good enough. This is an exhausting way to go through life. What if there was a different way? What if you believed there's more to life than a never-ending to-do list? What if you were able to let go of the shame of having ADHD? What if you stopped apologizing, started advocating for yourself, and lived on your terms? I love these questions because they challenge us to think differently about planning and time management. We believe planning is about designing a life you love, and some of you may not know what that looks like when it feels like ADHD is always in the way. We hope to change this for you. All right, I'm going to go to page 14, and I'm going to talk about what is radical acceptance. Acceptance is a strange word to understand. The dictionary says it means the action of consenting to receive or undertake something offered. I don't love this definition. I don't think many people with ADHD feel they consented to receive their diagnosis or took it as something to be offered. I like this definition of radical acceptance. Radical acceptance means to let go of the need to control, judge, and wish things were different than they are. Radical acceptance doesn't mean you must like what's happening. It means you no longer resist something you cannot change. Radical acceptance is not a consistent feeling that will come naturally to you. You will have days when you're going to be mad at your ADHD. Be mad. When you feel frustrated, be frustrated. The key is having enough acceptance to reframe how you see yourself and practice self-compassion. I heard my daughter say she hated herself for getting up late one morning. I said, "Would you tell your best friend you hate her because she slept in?" She didn't answer me. Treat yourself the same way you treat someone you love. Some things are easier to accept than others. Being a few minutes late to a meeting is different than forgetting to attend the meeting. It helps to understand why you forgot the appointment. Somehow ADHD showed up. Maybe you ignored the reminder. Maybe it was never set up. Maybe you got distracted and time just passed before you remembered again. This was not an intentional act. It doesn't mean you don't care. You care more than people think you do. It's situations like this where the shame of having ADHD sits. Sure, you feel bad that you forgot, but it goes deeper. You believe you're a horrible human being and should never be trusted. ADHD is not your fault. One of my all-time favorite movies is Good Will Hunting, especially when Robin Williams hugs Matt Damon, telling him it's not his fault, and keeps repeating it until Matt Damon breaks down. What a powerful moment. This is our moment between you and me. ADHD is not your fault. Stop blaming yourself for having ADHD. Apologizing for a missed meeting makes sense, but you don't need to keep apologizing or over-explaining what happened. Part of acceptance is taking responsibility, but for your own peace of mind, please let it go. It was a mistake. We all make them, and we all can learn from them. All right, page 20. Perseverance is an ADHD trait. One of the characteristics I admire about folks with ADHD is the ability to persevere, which means to persist in anything undertaken, maintain a purpose despite difficulty, obstacles, or discouragement, and continue steadfastly. You don't give up. No matter how many times you get knocked down and ADHD kicks your butt, you get back up. How do I know this? You're reading this book, and I witness it daily with my clients. This book is going to bring you face to face with your ADHD, and you're going to be confronted with some hard subjects. They come in the form of P words. I have no idea why they all start with P, and there will be other words with different letters that will challenge you. Planning, perfection, prioritizing, procrastination. However, as you reframe your relationship with ADHD, new experiences show up, ones that will still make you uncomfortable, but in a good way. You notice a silent confidence that starts to find its voice. It comes forward in the way of courage and radical acceptance. You open yourself up to opportunities and new approaches that support your ADHD and offer compassion, worthiness, love, and laughter. These experiences build resiliency and the confidence that no matter what ADHD throws at you, you can come back stronger than before.
Beautiful. Love those selections, Nikki.
Thank you.
Okay, so my turn, I guess. And
You're up next, yes.
I will, Nikki read from the beginning of the book. I will read from the end. And Nikki was uplifting and joyful. I will, of course, be talking about failure. Where did you learn your views on failure? Years past, I think I might have answered that I learned mine from my parents. They had reasonably high expectations of me as a student, particularly in high school. They pushed me to pursue my interests with intention and enthusiasm. But as I sit here writing this essay, I can't for the life of me remember a situation in which my parents came down on me for failing at something. I went to a competitive high school with kids who, if I'm completely honest, had a much higher degree of interest in the raw work of academics than I did. I don't know if they failed often. I only noticed them when I failed. I'm not talking about traditional letter grade failure, mind you. Sure, there was that. Remember, I was diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. In high school, my ADHD was an undiagnosed playboy. The roller coaster of grade performance was a natural outcome of having no idea who I really was as a human being. The sort of failure I'm talking about is the tiny paper cut failure. This is the kind of failure that reinforces the image you hold of yourself as less than, as someone who can't keep up with peers. This is the picture of the imposter. I built up my understanding of success through a reflection of my shortcomings in others' successes. I used that reflection as a blunt instrument with which to beat myself in the form of disastrously negative self-talk and limiting beliefs that only served to reinforce success as something I was progressively farther from reaching. Where did I learn my views on failure? I learned it all from myself. I created my own perception that failure is something to be feared and avoided at all costs. It carried with it the emotional weight of shame, disappointment, anxiety, and doubt. I was a kid. Why would I want to explore anything in the orbit of those planets thoughtfully? But failure only carries that weight because we have allowed it to. Absent our relationship with it, failure is just a state of change, a signal to redirect energy in a new, more effective direction. Look to the scientists in your life, Jordan, because they get it. A failure reveals an opportunity to improve or refine a hypothesis before testing that hypothesis again. A failure is a single step on a longer journey toward expanding knowledge. A failure helps us to refine the questions we ask of ourselves and the world around us. A failure condition is an objective fact free of judgment and emotional weight if you are able to approach it as such. Most important, failure is not an end. It is the beginning of another opportunity for change. ADHD taught me to judge myself through the lens of failure when I was a child, no one else. I've been working much of my adult life to reframe that childish interpretation of failure and take ownership of the word for what it is, a powerful token for observing transformation. If I stop judging failure so harshly, I experience less anxiety over my imperfections. If failure is an opportunity for growth, I am more resilient when I'm faced with obstacles. If failure is a data point and nothing more, I maintain a healthier view of my own self-worth. ADHD can be a harsh and persistent partner. At the very same time, it can be the key to unlocking connections and patterns in the world that remain hidden to so many. ADHD is a bounteous vessel of creativity and joy. If we are to assign weight to any emotional connection to ADHD, let that weight fall on exhilaration, cleverness, grit, and determination. Listen for failure's wisdom when your efforts go astray. Mine the riches from each fallen effort. Let curious questions flow and promising new directions emerge from the ashes of plains laid low. Failures are simply signposts on the road of wonder. You are not measured by a single attempt, but by the determination you carry to learn and grow. Who can stop this unbending reed? The root grows deeper with each passing storm. So steel yourselves. The path stretches before us, and failure travels with us, not to shame or slow our stride, but to illuminate the way forward. We will greet it as a teacher, an old friend, and as we succeed, not by avoiding failure, but by embracing the power it gives us to evolve. Onward now. There is much to be done, and we shall do it with courage.
Dang. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, anybody who has not yet read the book, this would be a really good example, these two together, of exactly why you should. It's a whole lot of that for a whole lot of chapters, and so beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love that. What's that like, you guys, just to be reading stuff you've written out loud in this setting?
Otherworldly.
Yeah.
Otherworldly.
An out-of-body experience, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure. Especially because these words were, these were written some time ago. They were written some time ago, and we're just kind of re-embracing them now in a different form, and that is delightful and a little scary. It feels a little bit like, oh, somebody else wrote that.
I know.
That guy, he had a different haircut, he had more facial hair, but it was definitely a different guy.
Or I'll read something and I'm like, oh, that really was good. Like, I did good there.
Yeah. Right. Who was that person?
It doesn't feel real. Yeah.
I was hoping you felt that way. I was thinking that about both of all of what you both read, right? I was going to say both of those passages, but Nikki, I loved how you read multiple passages there. And I was just thinking, you guys really write well, and it translates well to speech. Like some writing just kind of stays better on the page than it's spoken out loud. I like your stuff even better out loud. I was thinking, it's got such, and you both read very well. I think
There will be an audiobook.
There will be an audiobook.
Yes,
It's
but not
eventually.
from us.
But you will not be the readers on that audiobook.
We will not be the readers.
Funny story for the book launch people. We were told that if we wanted to read the book, we could audition for the role.
Yeah.
Let's see how much like Pete Wright you really sound, Mr.
How do you sound? Yeah,
Peter
do you
Wright.
sound like Pete? Yeah.
Yes.
So-
That it was amusing, and we decided that great. If somebody else has won that audition, go for it. We did our part. So
Yep.
maybe next time.
So many things to learn as you write a book. Amazing. Well,
I will tell you, Dodge, since you don't have visibility of this, the good and kind Dr. Nachifelt is here. He has
fantastic.
braved the wonders, the storms, and has made it to our fair enclave.
Dr. Nachifelt, I am so glad you have made it, and I can only imagine as a fellow psychologist what you might have waded through. Well done. Nachifelt is an adjunct professor of psychology and education at Columbia University in the Department of Clinical Psychology. Welcome, Nachi.
Really great to be here. Hope you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Can.
Woohoo! Yay!
Oh, thanks for being here, man. You've already been name dropped by the good Ari Tuckman, and so we're glad you could finally make an appearance.
Yay! So glad to be here, and you get to see my new office background, which makes me look prestigious. I love that. So.
Yes, indeed.
Very fancy.
Really great to be here. So can I just share my feedback about the
Please.
book? I've been telling so many people about it. What I love about it is, first of all, it's like you're being in the show, right? It's that same fun, light energy, but super practical. And for people like me who, with ADHD and our short-term memory problems, so then you forget, I could just go back a page and I'm like, oh, right, that's what it was. And I could see the note that I scribbled and I'm like, whoa, I actually read this before. That's weird. But it's so cool. Just seeing even the little summarize, the way that it gets summarized, right? So again, for that short-term working memory thing, it really kind of captures it for us and encapsulates it always in a fun little style, which is always great. And we know that humor is so conducive for learning and for allowing things to settle into our brain through indirect learning. Advertisers know that. So well done, guys. It's a great way to get into our brain. So I love that. And I think the highlight of the book for me was the way you broke things down into a step-by-step process. That's really the key, right? For all of us with ADHD is that we need things to kind of be spelled out. It's all about creating clarity. When we create that clarity, it gives us a sense of hey, I could do this. And what I love about Unapologetically ADHD is it spells out that clarity with the reader.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
That's so kind. Thank you. I should say thank you for noticing. that was the intention, and I'm just relieved.
Yeah.
Well, we sure appreciate you, and are just deeply, deeply grateful for your rather recent friendship to us on the show, and are eager to have you back and continue to share your incredible wisdom and just thank you for being a part of this. It was such an easy decision to ask you to contribute because we have so much just earnest, deep respect for your contributions too. Thank you.
Yay! I hope my wife hears that.
Well, we can create a clip for that and put it out on Insta. Would that help?
Yeah. Okay. I can take everything I can get. Yeah, I'm really excited. It was so much fun, and I'm looking forward to more collaborations. It's so much fun together to kind of just invite people to our little journey of creating clarity.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nachi. Well, let's see what's next.
We have got another giveaway. Drum roll, please, even if it's just in your minds. Oh, look at that. Much faster. We have Daniel Piersdorf. Congratulations, Daniel. Cool stuff
Awesome.
coming your way. I want some of this merch. When I should have
So,
been
let me
firing my
tell
name.
you, we have the merch. We have the book plate, which you can get on just about anything you want: pillows, cups, T-shirts. We have the I'm unapologetically ADHD plate with unapologetically in different colorways, and I particularly love that one. You can get that on anything. We also have
Oh, I didn't
I
put
think
that on there. I'm
I
so
know you didn't
sorry.
like
That's
that
my
one.
fault.
And then we have
okay.
this was actually directly out of the brain of our own Discord mom, Melissa. The hello, my name is Jordan, and that is a direct nod from the book. And I'm just going to say you have to read the book to figure out who Jordan is. But I hope that once you read the book and learn who Jordan is, that you will want to sport some hello, my name is Jordan. I'm
Yeah.
unapologetically
Because
ADHD.
you will be Jordan.
Yeah.
You will be
Here's
Jordan. Yes.
here's hoping.
And I have to just say, I wanted something a little simple. I just wanted the unapologetically ADHD with the logo. And so Pete put this mug up there specifically for me because I really like that. And so I don't know if anyone else is going to like this mug that just says unapologetically ADHD, but I'm buying it for sure.
Right.
It's going to be on my desk very, very soon.
So there is a wide variety of stuff to choose from to our winners, and we're just thankful that you were
And
here and
definitely-
available to win.
Definitely check out the I am unapologetically ADHD. I'm kicking myself for not putting that in there.
It's one of my favorites.
Darn it.
I love that. I could just see myself slurping that with clients. It's just sort of like, and how are you today? I am apologetically. Oh,
I'm unapologetically
okay.
Thanks, Dr. Ray. Appreciate that announcement. Awesome. Hey, everybody, we are moving toward the question and answer part where you get to pepper these guys with all the hard ones. Let's start rolling them in. I hope we had a few fired at the comment section. I'm seeing a lot of comments in the comment section.
There are some awesome compliments. Thank you so much, everybody, for
wait to go back
sharing
and
those
read
kind
them all.
words.
Sharon
So
likes my
sweet.
mug too. See, I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one. I never said.
You said it was boring. You said it looked boring all by itself, just saying unapologetically ADHD. And I'm like, no, I want boring.
It's basic. It's
It's
basic. I
basic.
think you can
It is
say
We've
that.
got a great question coming in from somebody named Kira Wright. Does anyone know who that is, Pete?
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear.
She
Was
would like to
let
know where
into
we,
this thing.
she wants to know where we can shop for all this merch. That is a great question.
There, you can find the link to selected merch at takecontroladhd.com/ADHD book. But we also have, I'll even put it as a banner, takecontroladhd.com/merch. And that will show all of the merch that is available, including the older stuff, but the new stuff that we just put up today. And we're going to say it's probably a limited time thing. We're not going to just, this is just if you want to sport the unapologetically ADHD bit. We're not. We're okay. We just mostly we want it ourselves. I'm definitely getting a selection of new pillows. I just love it.
A whole selection of unapologetic pillows.
Yes, that is
perfect.
what I'm doing.
Very good. Jamie has a great question. Were there any surprises when you were writing this book? And if so, what?
You want to go first, Nikki?
I think the biggest surprise for me is how much I actually enjoyed the process. I think that I was really skeptical at first because a limiting belief that I have is that if I don't feel like I'm a very good writer. And it stemmed from being in college when I had a professor actually tell me I was not doing a good job writing and that I needed to go to the writing center and get help. And that has always stuck with me. And so I was scared. I was nervous. I mean, it's the imposter syndrome, of course, of, why us? But then it was the actual writing piece of it. How am I going to make this work to be something I'm proud of and enjoy the process. And that is what surprised me the most, is that it was hard. It was very hard to do it. There's a lot of pieces to it, a lot of editing and re-editing. But the actual writing itself, I enjoyed so much. I really loved the process of going to a coffee shop and grabbing a cup of coffee and working all afternoon, just writing. And I found that listening to classical music was great for me. So I would put my classical music in my ears and I would just write away, write, edit, copy, paste, do everything that you do to make a book happen. And I just loved doing it. I loved doing it, which just really surprised me.
I think for my part, I think I was surprised at how I was, I think, nervous about figuring out what the sort of language of the book would be between the two of us. And I was surprised at just how easy that was to discern, right? It took us no time to figure out how we were going to have this sort of narrative conversation between the two of us. And that was a great, really pleasant surprise, because as a result, everything just kind of fell together pretty easily. I mean, it took months, but it never felt hard.
Right.
It makes sense to me that part came naturally, but it's so much of what makes the book work. Like the way you set up sort of straight man and funny guy, and like nuts and bolts and creative thought and instruction versus experience. Like just that interplay is a very interesting way to write a book, and it keeps it flowing beautifully, and it plays to both your strengths really nicely, fits the show perfectly. I mean, it's just exactly the way to do this. Very cool.
Let's see. We've here's one I think I just had. Here we go. Did we already get here? How about this one from Lindsay? What was something unexpected you learned while writing the book?
That I learned.
Yeah. What'd you learn?
How much editing is involved?
Oh my gosh.
Like really, I think that as many of you know, if you've listened to the show, there was a mistake on my end with word count, and there is a difference. So this is probably the biggest thing I learned.
Oh my goodness.
Is there's a difference between word count and word characters, in case anyone wants to know. They are not the same thing. And when you've never written, you don't know that. I thought a character was a word count, and apparently it's not. So I was really concerned that we were going to have this big, huge book, when actually I found out what I had written was this really tiny book, and I needed to write a lot more before the first deadline. And so I would say that's the first thing I learned. But the editing process of writing a book was really surprising to me, because we sent that first edit at the end of January, and I kind of thought that was going to be done, right? Like, okay, that's the rough draft, and they're going to come back and they're going to say some things, and I thought maybe they might come back and say, we've changed our mind and we're going to cancel the contract because you guys suck. But that did not
I thought
happen.
that too. I absolutely thought that too. We were done.
In fact, when we got the edits back, we were both like, oh, you do think that they would tell us if it was bad, right? And luckily they did not. They praised us. But then that was one edit. And then we had another editor. And then we had another editor.
I don't know how. All due respect to Wiley, and I'll say writ large, the publishing industry, everyone is a different level of editor, and thank God they look at the book from such different perspectives, and they all have thoughts, and editor is after their name. I don't know how they know who each other are because they're all editors, but they are so good at what they do. And I am so thankful that they were there to just sort of take turns and shepherd us through the process of editing. But it's a lot. It is a lot
It's a
more than
lot of
I
editing.
expected too. I think that's
Yeah.
the thing. I mean, that in terms of time spent, sure, there was writing the book, but wow, is there a lot. I mean, I had an instructor in college who said time and again, the act of writing does not begin until the first draft is done. And
Mhm.
that I can say absolutely is true here.
Mhm.
Mm. Mm. Benita asks a great question. What would my first step be toward managing ADHD now after the many steps taken of therapy, massive webinar, education, etc.?
You know, managing ADHD is a very broad thing to ask, right? And so, if I was having a conversation one on one with you, Benita, I would want to know exactly what that means to you. What does managing ADHD look like for you? What areas are you feeling like you're struggling? I think that there are so many resources out there that are wonderful. There are great books, there are great podcasts, there's lots of great webinars and summits, and the ADHD conference that's coming up in November. There's a lot of great resources out there, but sometimes there's so much that becomes this information overload where you just it's too overwhelming. You don't know where to start and you don't know what that first step is. So, one of the things I would really zero in is what is one area that you're struggling with in your ADHD, and what are just a couple of small things that you could do and focus on to work with that, to really start to maybe try something new or try uh, something that you have done in the past that you found some success in, but really just starting small and giving yourself lots of self compassion, and don't give up. Don't give up. Keep working on yourself. You're worth
And
it.
and make sure to join the community. Come on in, like just apart from this as a book launch party, come on in the community and ask that question, because we have so many resources in our Discord community, and would love to make sure that you're engaging that question there too. Thank you.
Yeah. Could I add just a thought about that?
Yes.
I love the way Benita phrased that, because it highlights, I think, the way we often think about ADHD. So, Benita, perfect phrasing, because it lets me highlight an interesting thing that I didn't notice till I'd seen the question 3 or 4 times. First step toward managing ADHD, is that even the way we want to think about it? So I might add to your perfect answers. It would be nice to just stay curious about, is that in the end going to be my goal? Am I managing ADHD? Am I learning how my mind works? Am I managing my life in this beautiful way that ADHD needs to manage differently? I don't know. That question may evolve as she does all of the things you just said, but I really get exactly that starting place. And it'll be interesting to see how it shifts over time. Does that make even sense to you as I say that, Pete and Nikki?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. I want to share some praise that's coming in too. Cindy phrased agreed something agreed to by many in the chat. She writes, "I love the unapologetically word in the title. Is anyone else sick and tired of apologizing for who we are?"
That was synchronicity, I think, and it was Nikki who came up with, I think, the unapologetically first. But man, when we were in Discord and we were exchanging, we'd been working on titles for a long time, and came up with that, and it was one of those kind of lightning strike moments. The subtitle didn't even matter at that point. I think I think that subtitle had been decided. We just hadn't figured out what felt good for the title of the book, and it was pretty
And
special.
luckily Wiley was happy with it. They were good with it, because we were willing to fight for that title. Like, I didn't care about the subtitle. That could be whatever they wanted, but like that, I really wanted to fight for that title. And it was something that I feel really strongly about, because in even in my coaching groups and in the membership that we do with planning, one of the very first rules that we have, and I talk about this in the book, is that you don't need to apologize. If you come in late, don't apologize. There's no late to our GPS membership site or membership. You don't need to over explain yourself. Like, we get it. And you don't need to say you're sorry, because you're always saying you're sorry. And part of the book is really embracing who you are and not apologizing for that. Like, who is saying that someone is normal and not normal? No one is better than you. And it just really was something that we felt really strongly about, that nope, this is it. This is the title.
Well, if it helps you at all, that certainly was echoed in my office just a few hours ago when I happened to point to the book on my desk, and somebody like squinted to see the title and said, Unapologetic. Thank you. Yes, thank you. That's the perfect title. Yeah. I think that's going to resonate for many, because I think there is a lot of apologizing that happens for that. And apologizing for mistakes is one thing, but it can feel too much like apologizing for just who you are, how you work, just how your life moves. Yeah.
Can I just say, related to the title, and forgive me for working blue a little bit, but I have to say we went through many rounds. I'm not telling the story anywhere else. This is just this event. We went through many drafts of the cover of this thing, of the cover design. And there was one point where the design came back to us from the designer, and nobody had seen it until, I can't even remember who it was first. It was somebody in our immediate friend group who looked at the title and said, "Why did you write genital ADHD on the cover of the book?" That somehow we had written a book about genitals and ADHD, and it made no sense, and we were dying
because of the way that it was hyphenated.
Yeah, it was hyphenated.
Right, it was hyphenated.
Had Unapol at the top, and then Unapologetically, and it looked like genitals.
Yeah.
ADHD, and it was horrifying. And we told Wiley, and immediately they were like, "Oh my God, please, no, we don't want to."
Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah, so you learned. That was another surprising thing that I learned.
Right? Don't break up a hyphen with unapologetically.
Yeah,
it doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right. No,
and which is good. I'm glad we didn't do that, because in April, ADHD is Awesome came out from the Holderness family, and which is also a great book. And they did the hyphen. So I'm really glad we didn't do it, because we would have looked like copycatters, and we're not copycatters.
We're not copycatters. No.
No.
Can't wait. Yeah. What else do we have?
Unapologetically. ADHD. Nice.
You'll never see it the same way.
Let me give you one fun, cheeky question from Australia, and then we'll finish with some nice praise. Matt in Australia asks, just wondering when the junket is coming down south, like way south.
Matt, we haven't been given the stipend for a Perth trip, but just know that it is in our hearts. And
yes.
We're so grateful that you are here. Probably on your way to work, or maybe just got to work in the morning tomorrow. Thank you for joining us from the future, buddy. It's good to see you.
From the future. That's right. You hop on a flight in their dreams this weekend.
That's right.
Wait a minute. We've actually got a couple more questions. Do we have time for a couple more, and then we'll finish with
Go for it.
Lindsay asks, what lessons around imposter syndrome did you apply in writing the book, or should we read the book to learn? Wait.
I didn't talk about it in the book. So
since we came in hot tonight with imposter syndrome as kind of our theme of the experience and how weird this is, I will tell you that there is some imposter syndrome in the book. It's and honestly not as much as you might expect, given how much we've talked about it on the podcast. Right. And maybe that's because we're there, and maybe it's because this isn't a kitchen sink book, right? It's a book that is specifically about aligning your lived experience with helping you to get the work of your life done. Right. That's the important part. How do you figure out how to see just a little bit into the future? And so we didn't dwell too much, I don't think, on the RSD space, on the imposter syndrome space, frankly, because there are really great contributions elsewhere that nail that stuff. Like all we would be doing
Yeah.
is kind of parroting great works from other incredible people. Nikki,
Well,
what
and
do you
I
think? Is
think,
that fair?
yeah, it is fair. And I have to say, I mean, we supported each other. So anytime we felt like we were being imposters, I would be like, okay, Pete, did you read that? Like, what did you think? Is that okay? And you would say the same thing. Like, is this essay, does it fit? Is it what you were thinking? Is this, so we supported each other, definitely. Like, no, this is good. We also had some jokes about, okay, we're confident that one of these editors would tell us it was bad, if it was bad. But this is the thing that I think I carry with all of the work I do whenever I talk about ADHD. It comes back to my intention. What is my intention? My intention is to share a message that I've learned from my membership. So a lot of this book came from our GPS membership, where I actually practiced a lot of these things and got some great feedback from them, and have continued to work in this membership with them around planning. That's why I was able to write the book. And I just kept coming back to, what is my intention? My intention is to help as many people as we can, and hope that they have some light at the end of the tunnel, that this stuff does not have to be perfect, and have a different mindset that maybe they had before. My intention is good. My intention is to help people. It's not to pretend like I know everything, or say something that is new. I mean, a lot of the stuff is stuff that you've heard before. It's just put together in a different way, and I hope in a way that resonates. And so anytime I doubted myself, I just kind of kept coming back. What is my intention for this book? What is my intention for my work? And that's what, and I really wanted to be something. I wanted to have something that I was proud of. And I knew that if once I got to the point where I could be proud of this, then I knew I did good enough. I was able to let it go.
I think I was just
Lovely.
talking with you about this, Pete, maybe last week. I love the thought that the question, who do you think you are, can shift to a more sincere, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Like, right? I
Yeah.
think I have something to say. I think I'm a writer. I think I have more to teach. Yeah. And sure enough, you were all of those.
Yeah. That's it. It just happened.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Polly asks, is there particular special advice you'd give to adults diagnosed later in life? Or maybe resources you'd point them to first?
Hey, I was diagnosed later in life. I would just say, for me, the initial journey was one of just curiosity and figuring out a way to express how my brain worked in a way that was more clear than I had been able to do before, because it unlocks an entire new vernacular, an entire new set of words, of language that you never had before. And so that was very helpful to just maintain that air of curiosity and not fear. And whenever you find yourself in that space of fear and uncertainty, to step back and find curiosity, lock into curiosity again. I had in terms of resources, I had the luck of having a therapist who actually both pointed out that he wanted to talk to me about my ADHD and helped me get through the process of understanding it. And so, having that support is great. This was also many years ago where we had no podcasts, and now we have podcasts and incredible books and resources. We have a great resources page with books, from everybody that has been on the show tonight. We recommend, and they all have contributions to the body of knowledge around adults with ADHD. And so, insofar as we're talking about the launch here, that's awesome. I would love to continue this conversation in our community, where we have a little bit more appropriate forum for sharing specific resources, because we got them and we'd love to help.
There's one I would love to point people to, Pete, and it is right back to your website, where people can ask questions of your podcast. All of the material ever recorded for this podcast has been absorbed by AI and digested in a way where you can ask questions and get very intelligent answers based on the guests who've come through this show. And when you're first starting out, it's hard to just say, here, read these 12 books. And it's hard to even know which book to recommend because it's hard to know what you most want to know first. But what's beautiful is you can go to this with a question and it will then cite the episodes that most speak to the question you have. And then when you start to listen to those episodes, you're going to get a bunch more resources on whatever subject matters to you most. It's a fantastic place to start.
Thank you, Dodge, for acknowledging a resource on our very own website that I had forgotten about. I appreciate you being on top of that.
It's the best one of all. I send people there all the time because whatever you want to ask, it will come directly from carefully curated guests, fantastic conversation, years of experience, and it won't just come from the freaking World Wide Web out there from ChatGPT who went looking for it on its own. Like, these are people you very much chose on purpose for reasons that were pretty plain tonight, if anyone heard them. Yeah, it's a great place to start. Yeah. One last piece of praise for you before we start going to closing remarks. Polly herself, the same one who just asked that question, writes, "Kudos to you, Nikki and Pete, for co-writing a book. I used to manage publications for a scholarly society, and lots of our books were co-written. I can tell you it's not easy to co-write a book that has a cohesive feel with different voices. Your work together over the years is likely what made your collaborative writing experience so positive, in addition to your brilliant storytelling skills and sheer talent. It wasn't a fluke. You two are just plain awesome."
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Polly.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That was
I
lovely.
am so honored to have been part of tonight, part of this journey, part of your lives, for you, Pete, for yours, for 3 decades and counting. And I love you both, and I am so impressed and so proud of you. I've loved this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Bard. Thank you for being here.
Dodge.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for hosting. All right. Well, we do have some final announcements for you guys to know about before we actually leave. The first announcement for anyone that is new to TCA, to Take Control ADHD, I invite you to please visit our website at takecontroladhd.com, where you can learn more about the coaching services. You can learn more about the planning membership, our podcast, and other ADHD resources that we have to share with you. We also are going to be doing a book club for this book, and that is something that is going to open today. Enrollment is going to be open. You can go to the website to check that out. It's going to close on Friday, September 20th. It's going to be 4 weeks. It's going to start on the 24th, and Pete's going to be there at the beginning to talk about, I don't know, whatever he wants to talk about with his essays.
I'll have stuff.
You have stuff.
I have stuff.
And I'm going to talk about, things that are going on in the book and how that can translate to you personally. And so you'll get some more customized work together there in that book club. And so Marion, Melissa, one of you two are going to post the book club link in the chat. What else, Pete? What else do we have? Where can you buy the book? Where can you find merchandise? What do we got going on?
And all at takecontroladhd.com/ADHD book. We don't want you to have to spell out unapologetically in a URL, just ADHD book. That'll get you there. But you can also search for it anywhere you get your books. And I've had people, very gracious people, ask me, where do you want me to buy the book? Where is most helpful for you? You guys, just buy the book. If you want to help us, just buy the book and enjoy it and love it, and maybe share it with others. Tell them that this resource is out there if they're living with ADHD too. That's the most helpful. Where you get your books, local bookseller, wherever you want to get it. That's the most helpful, and we thank you for that. If you do get it and you happen to get it, let's say on someplace like Amazon, Amazon has reviews, and reviews are very, very helpful for new authors like us. And writing a 5-star review on Amazon and sharing your love for the book is extraordinarily helpful. And so if it is not too much out of your way and you happen to purchase the book, verified purchase from Amazon, we would appreciate you for doing that. Sharing it on social media is also great. We have started the hashtag Unapologetically ADHD anywhere you use hashtags, and we would love you to share your experience with the book there. We will be contributing online in that area as well. We're trying. If you have seen our reels, we're trying.
We're trying to do
some
reels.
Yes.
Which is hilarious.
And I will say, thank you, Sharon in the chat has said Barnes & Noble does reviews too. And that is, thank you for that correction, because we want those reviews from Barnes & Noble too. We would love that.
Absolutely.
And we both wrote the book in Barnes & Noble's, our respective Barnes & Nobles.
We did.
And so we would love to share the love to their lovely cafe. So that is, that's the news there.
Yeah.
And available on Kindle. The ebook version has dropped also on Kobo and in Apple Books. It's everywhere that you find your books. So thank you. I think that's it for our announcements. Is this it?
Yeah. So
Did
now
we
we're
make
just
it?
going to say thank you. I mean, thank you to everyone. Thank you for Wiley for believing in us. Thank you, Victoria. If you're
Who's
still
a hero.
here,
Victoria
that was listening to the podcast and reached out. So deeply appreciate you and the rest of the team at Wiley, our family, our friends for supporting us, for feeding us, GPS members. I cannot stress enough how important you are to this book. There is no way this book could have been written without my GPS membership. You guys are amazing. Past members, current members, future members. I feel like I've learned so much from all of you, and it's an amazing community, and I just really, really thank you. Dodge, thank you so much for hosting. Melissa and Marion for being in the background and making sure that all the questions have been asked and answered, or not asked, because you were making sure that they got asked so that we could answer them. That's what I meant to say. All of our special guests tonight that wrote a testimonial, who actually took time out of their busy schedules, because they're all wonderful ADHD experts and so busy, and they said, yes, we'll read your book and I'm going to write a testimonial for you. That it means so much. These men and women are people that I see once a year at the International ADHD conference, and every time I see them, it's like a star. It's like, look, there's Ari Tuckman. Oh, look, it's Sharon Celine, and I'm starstruck by them all the time with their expertise, and it's just amazing to be in their orbit. And I just appreciate you all so much. To the TCA team, Mel, Melissa, Marion, Brian, Pete, and to the reader, to all of the people who are going to read this book, I hope love it and appreciate it and save it, because I can guarantee you your systems are going to break at some point because you have ADHD. But that's okay, because there's no shame in that, because all you have to do is pick up the book again and reread it, and you're right back on the train. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
Without shame and being unapologetically you. There you go.
It's not even breaking. It's like leaves falling in the autumn and growing back in spring, right? It's a seasonal sort of process. Yeah.
But
Pete, what else do you got? Because I think I covered everything.
You did. You just did all of it. I now have nothing. The only thing I get to do is I get to toss back to Dodge for, you guessed it, one more giveaway.
Final giveaway. Amy Handy, you are the lucky winner of our final giveaway tonight. Congratulations to all of you getting cool merch. The rest of us are going to go buy some because it's just too cool.
I will just throw up the last question is for Anne. I went to the website, but there's no info about the book club. Well, and that's because we're still in the live stream. I'm the one who puts it on the website, and it couldn't go up until we were done with the live stream. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it tonight. I promise. Just don't forget. Just hang on, and it'll be done. And thank you. Thank you for going so quickly to the website.
I love that. Right?
I appreciate that.
Kudos for the enthusiasm.
Oh, and thank you, Melissa, for posting it directly in the chat here. That's super, super helpful. It's right there. It's going to be right there. So copy that down, but it'll be on the website very soon. Okay.
Yep.
We're
Good
done.
night, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations, Pete and Nikki. So
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thank you so much.
Dodge. Thanks, everyone.